Right, Luke, we're ready to start.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us this morning. We hope you enjoy the content that we're about to put forward to you. I'm Luke, this is Leon from Think Cloud. We're working together in collaboration. Leon's the IT expert and I call myself an insurance expert. So we'll go on to the next slide just to describe what you can expect from today's webinar. So we're going to do some brief introductions, introduce myself and our company HI Commercial, and Leon will do similar. Leon will then take over, show you some live hacking and social engineering examples, case studies, just to show it in a real life environment. We're also going to show you how we do know your passwords. You've probably all joined today's webinar in eagerness to know how that happens. So we're going to explain to you how that works. A lot of businesses say to me about cyber liability, I don't need it, it'll never happen to us because we're too small a business. What I'm going to do is show you some real life case studies where insurers have paid out for cyber attacks on local businesses. Leon will then take over because obviously insurance is, you want to prevent this from happening in the first place. Insurance is an absolute backup in the case of an absolute disaster. And it's a safety net. So you want to get your prevention tools in place first, which Leon will share with you. And then if all else fails, you'll have your insurance as your safety net. So this is us. We're a company called HI Commercial. We're a commercial insurance broker based in Hull. And that's all we do. We don't do any personal lines, house, car, travel insurance. We specialise day in, day out in commercial insurances. It's a wide variety of businesses. And our team's growing. We set up 2019, so we've just had our first year, 1 year birthday, our anniversary. We're looking forward to many more years ahead. So this is me. I'm Luke. I'm a director of HI Commercial. I've got 8 years experience in the insurance industry and have DIP CII qualifications. So I've got quite a bit of experience. I've got the qualifications to back that up. And I do what I do because I enjoy helping people. I like saving them time, I like saving them money, and I like giving them the peace of mind that if something does go wrong, they can count on me to be there to help put the pieces back together. And that goes for every one of our team as well. So as I mentioned, commercial insurance broker. We give you that peace of mind. We save business owners time, which is very important so you can focus on running and growing your business. And we like to save people money where we can as well, although that shouldn't be the most important factor. If it's purely cost driven, we tend to see people do cut corners and you don't get what you pay for. So you really need to pay specific attention. It takes a lot of time to build a business, a lot of time, effort, money, resources, and it can all disappear if you have one incident that's not covered. Specific areas that we specialise in is construction, manufacturing, engineering, warehousing, haulage and transport. They're our sweet spots. That's where we really come into our own with our insurer panel and we really look after people. We're not limited to this. We do other types and ranges of insurances for other sectors as well, but that's our sweet spot. And I think that's probably enough of an introduction from me, and over to you.
Thanks, Luke. Yeah, so I'm Leon Think Cloud. I'm co-founder and I like to call myself a technology evangelist. That's what I like to call myself. And what that means is I know a little bit about a lot of different pieces of technology. So we work with 150 customers across the north of England and work with local government, Ministry of Defence, supply chain, manufacturing, engineering and charity sectors. And a big part of work I do outside of my day job is I'm also a trustee and I also help with the digital strategy of one of the fastest growing mental health charities in the UK. So again, with that sort of knowledge and experience, we've also been drafted into work with the Grow My SME scheme and the Humber Business Growth Hub, helping businesses use digital technology to get back up and running through COVID. So our mission, we just exist to help our customers succeed through the adoption and use of technology. And cyber is becoming more and more of a challenge, more so because people don't understand the full sort of range of it. So the whole idea that we've put it together is so we can try and educate everybody around cyber.
Sort of understanding the risk, because a lot of people, as soon as you say cyber, they go, oh, yet everyone relies so heavily on it rather than paper records. It's not like the good old days anymore where everything's paper-based and in a filing cabinet. Everything is moving online. So you do need to understand how to protect that information in the cloud.
Exactly, and I think the biggest challenge we've got is our footprints are getting bigger online, so it's trying to look how we can do that. So just taking on a quick sort of journey of us, we've been going 17 years, and as you can see, we specialised in Microsoft and also G Suite, but running through, like we say at the moment, we're really pushing forward, helping the European Union and the Business Growth Hub under the Digital Catalyst scheme. So everything that we do on that scheme is all about helping companies innovate and add more value to the customer base, but everything is underpinned through Cyber Essentials and Cyber Essentials Plus. So today I've put together some slides to go through the sort of the dangers and the risks of how easy it is to get someone's passwords. So as we sort of run through, we want to be able to succeed for our digital technology, but we've got to really be thinking about security and cybercrime. And the facts are quite alarming when we look at it. So we've put together what we believe are our 4 incentives, our initiatives to sort of help around this. And cybercrime is our largest organised crime worldwide, beating all other organised crime added up together. So when we look at that, and you made a great point today just before we started, was no longer we're getting broken in like we used to.
No, well, your traditional insurance policies, it is for cover theft, fire, so people breaking in, stealing your goods, content, stock, things like that. Well, that doesn't happen anymore because people don't need to take the risk of breaking in, getting caught on camera. They don't even need to be in the same country. They can be absolutely anywhere in the world and take what's more important to you, which is your data, your information.
Yeah. So when you look at that, a big alarming fact is 60% of small businesses got a business within the first 6 months of a cyber attack, which is just devastating. And then there's currently a 1 in 2 chance of a cyber attack for a small to medium-sized business in the UK. Now, us as a provider, we believe it's not a 1 in 2. We will get breached.
So when not if.
Yes, it's when not if. So it's about building systems to be resilient around that. And we've put sort of 4 sort of key sort of development incentives that we believe every business should have. So we need to be developing cybersecurity skills ourselves. We need to be looking at our risks, and when you talk a lot about risk when you put an insurance policy in place, we need to go through the risk management and look at the different risks and be aware within our decision-making process. And then we need to design and deploy cyber resilience in different solutions. And ultimately, we've got a duty of care to make sure that we're protecting data integrity. So jumping straight in, so there's been a lot about us, a lot about what we do, but I thought it'd be real, interesting to give people an insight into live social engineering and a live cyber hack. So if we just jump straight into this, and this video is about 7 minutes, but I think everyone will agree it's a great video.
From Ashley Madison to JP Morgan, from Jennifer Lawrence to the federal government, our biggest celebrities, corporations, and institutions targets of devastating cyber attacks. I wanted to see how bad a hack can get, so I invited a few of the world's best hackers to try to hack me and show me where my vulnerabilities are. And now I'm going to meet them in Las Vegas at DEF CON, biggest hacker convention of the year, and see what they found. This might not have been the best idea. DEF CON is the biggest hacker convention of the year. It's a place where thousands of hackers come to hear talks, to demonstrate their newest hacks. It's actually a place that's so dangerous to be on the internet that they tell you to turn off the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth on your phone. And they tell you not to use the ATMs too, because those could be hacked as well. This is the DEF CON ballroom. This is sort of the main room where things are happening. And it's pretty wild. I think this is car hacking village. This car is locked. Can you get me in?
I'll unlock it for you. Should be good.
Hacking is no longer like this fringe activity. And if you are at DEF CON, there's a good chance that you're here because you want to learn what could happen to you or your company.
Anyone here first time in SCCTF?
I invited Chris to hack me with his team, but they're going to hack me using social engineering, which is essentially hacking without any code. They just use a phone and an internet connection.
We help people with human security issues by testing vulnerabilities for like a network test, but it's for the people network. We test those vulnerabilities, see where the holes are, and then help people learn so they can patch them.
Can we try some of this? Can we try some?
Yeah.
See if it works.
Yeah, we probably could have our star Visher here to make some phone calls as
Let's do it.
Sure. You want to do a sample phishing call?
What's phishing?
Phishing is voice solicitation, and basically what you do is use the phone to extract information or data points that can be used in a later attack.
Let's do it. Who are you gonna call?
Maybe I'll call your cell phone provider
Okay.
and see if I can get them to give me your email address.
I bet they're good. I bet they have my back. But yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna spoof from your number, so it's gonna look like it's calling from you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me okay? My baby, I'm sorry. My husband's like, we're about to apply for a loan and we just had a baby and he's like, get this done by today. So I'm so sorry. I can't call you back. I'm trying to log into our account for uses information and I can't remember what email address we used to log the account. The baby's crying and can you help me? Awesome.
In just 30 seconds,
Gmail.com?
Jessica gets my personal email address.
Now, if I needed to add our older daughter on our account so she could call in and make changes, how would I need to go about doing that? You would have to send me a secure PIN through a text message? Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't think I'll be able to receive a text message if I'm on the phone. Oh, I'm not on there either? So I thought when we got married, he added me to the account. Okay, my
Jessica uses my girlfriend's name and a fake social security number
name, 5127.
to set up her own personal access to my account.
Wait, I'm sorry. So there's no password on my account right now? Can I set that up?
She even gets the support person to change my password.
Thank you so much for your help today.
So she just basically blocked me out of my own account.
I'll get her fed after this. All right, thank you.
Holy shit. So they just gave you access to my entire cell phone account.
You're gonna have to go on and change your password now because it's Jess, my name.
And all it took was a crying baby and a phone call.
Yes.
I really thought that my cell phone company would protect me. I mean, like, this is the most basic stuff, and they're not doing it. And if they're not doing it, you know all these other businesses aren't doing it either. Anyone with a phone and an internet connection can do social engineering. But I was curious, what can a hacker with serious coding skills do?
Well, DEF CON is the world's biggest hacking convention. It's hacking everything, hacking social, hacking hardware, hacking software, hacking various systems.
I asked Dan Tentler, a well-known security researcher, to turn all of his firepower on me.
I did get into quite a number of things that I found.
So what were the first things you did? How did you start hacking me?
I quickly found your Squarespace blog and had an idea. Basically what I did was created a bogus Squarespace site and sent an email to you, a phish asking you to go to this website, run this certificate installer.
And I did it because I'm an idiot.
So once you ran that, it gave me access to your computer, and I created several fake pop-ups that looked like system pop-ups that would ask you for your credentials.
You didn't even have to have my passwords.
So you gave them to me.
I gave them to you.
Yeah. So I stole your 1Password keychain.
And 1Password is where I store all my other passwords. So effectively by...
And your social security number and your Amex stuff and all your stock trading and bank information. I can send email to everyone in this room as you. I am you right now, if I wanted to be. If my evilness is working correctly, it should actually be taking pictures of your desktop and pictures through your webcam every 2 minutes. And I have been watching you for about 2 days now. In coffee shops, at your mom's house, on a plane. Here's your editing stuff. There's your
Oh my God, so this is literally
every 2 minutes.
through my webcam.
Yeah, through this guy.
How badly could you have messed up my life?
I could have made you homeless. I could have made you homeless and penniless.
How?
Like,
How would you make me homeless?
Like, I have control of your digital life in its entirety. I have all your credentials. I have all your access to all your financial information, all your work information, all your personal information. I can pay people with your bank account or your Amex account. I am you. I can fully impersonate. The only thing I couldn't doctor would be like your fingerprints.
This is like as bad as it gets.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's bad.
So it turns out that Dan Tentler is very good at his job. I mean, he hacked the hell out of me. He got everything. I mean, frankly, I want to take my computer and throw it into the deepest part of the ocean, and I want to become a hermit, and I want to never touch a piece of technology again, because holy shit, that was everything. That was the keys to my entire life, and he just pulled them out of his pocket.
So as we can see, it's a lot easier.
I'm going back to a Nokia 3310, I think, and a typewriter.
But again, and look, add into this, we're seeing industries constantly under attack. Finance sector, public sector, construction, that a massive one. Manufacturing, engineering. What would you say on that?
Definitely construction. Handle a lot of invoice, a lot of payments, not the best record keepers generally. So we find they're a particular industry at risk, and same with transport and logistics. But it also happens to retail shops. The hackers, they just attack anyone. They don't think about what trade industry you're in. They're peppering everyone all the time and just waiting for somebody to give access to the system. So there's no prejudice.
No prejudice, it's just a big numbers game. So as we start looking at small business challenges with cyber, a lot of business owners don't believe that it will happen to them. They think it's just for the big guys.
That all the time.
All the time, yeah. I think the firewall, antivirus, and backup they've bought is enough. I think it's too expensive.
Yeah, we get that as well.
yeah. And then don't believe their data is important to hackers, inconvenient, and they've got blind trust that they believe that their IT team has got them covered. So we see them as like the main sort of challenges. But pushing that back, we believe cybersecurity is a team sport. We're all responsible. And the big challenge we've got, there's not enough labour at the moment to fill the jobs available, or the skills, not enough skills. So, you know, we believe cybercrime is turning into an epidemic because there's triple number of the open positions open for jobs. So when we look at that, I'm going to explain what the dark web is to people. A lot of people don't understand what the dark web is. Do you understand what it is?
I didn't until we ran through this yesterday, I must admit.
Yeah, so the dark web, only a very small percentage of the dark web is your Yahoo, your Google, your Bing, or your front end of the websites. But there's a deeper web under there of databases, medical records, all different website applications that that are out there. But underneath that, there's a dark web, which is got a darker side of it, where credentials are stolen and sold and traded. So it's a bit like an eBay, but for
your personal information.
For your personal information. And the big challenge is stolen credentials are used to test for open doors and access to corporate networks. And this is coming back down to passwords, and I will jump into that in a bit. But another interesting fact that a lot of people don't know, and our data from our different systems, our different partners, shows us that on average it's 197 days is the average length of time it takes for organisations to realise there's a data breach. So you've been hit and you don't even know. So there's just an example there of it, 90 minutes to escalate. Russian hackers have moved the fastest, and it just explains there in terms of how quickly hackers can get in and take that data without even knowing. And ultimately, once they've got them stolen credentials, they're then appearing on the dark web. So looking at that and pushing that sort of forward, here's an example of a dark web report we've pulled on a company. And we class as this is a tool what we have in our app stack called External Threat Intelligence. And what we're doing is we're looking and we're monitoring the dark web to see if there is any compromised data out there. And we 24/7 monitor 365 days a week of chat rooms, private websites, peer-to-peer networks, internet relay chat channels, social media platforms, all the black market sites. And the reports is at 80,000 plus compromised emails daily on these sites. So it's really making sure that we identify our information and understand what's being exposed, because the information is used to compromise your corporate networks, services such as Office 365, your G Suite, your payroll services, your VPNs, your remote desktops, banking, and everywhere. When we look at that, what that actually looks like, this gives an example of a report that we've run, and we can see the passwords. We've starred them out so we can't fully see, but we have access to them. And a lot of times it won't say origin disclosed where it's come from. but sometimes it will. So it might be from a Facebook game, or it might be someone else has been leaked. And the big challenge is a lot of people don't treat the passwords like the pants. And I think this sort of slide explains it really well. How many people out there who will be watching this webinar, it's a question I ask all the time, is you need to treat your passwords like your pants, like your underwear, right? Change them regularly, never share them with anyone, and keep them off your desk.
I think that's a good way of remembering what to do with passwords. Yeah, definitely.
And that is one of the biggest challenges, because the first port of call is your passwords.
Well, you normally find that everyone has, like an individual, probably have the same password for everything.
Yeah.
And never change them because they can't remember them, or they write them down somewhere. But it's just so easy to guess. I mean, we spoke to somebody a few months ago from an insurance company, and they said first name, middle name, partner's name, pet name. That's the vast majority, and you're thinking, actually, yeah, some of us use them. So you're like, everyone's logging on there, thinking, I'm going to have to change that. But that's how easy it is. Like, we don't have to be a hacker or very clued up to guess someone's middle name, street name, pet name. We just go on Facebook.
Exactly that. And you'll also see as well different sort of phishing attacks, as we call them. You get phishing attacks through email, but you'll see it on Facebook where people will say, "Have you ever?" and it'll list a lot of questions. And what people are doing there is, what they don't realise is giving their details away. What was your first school, your first pet's name in these surveys? So be very careful about what information you are giving out there. But a good example of how you can manage your passwords is, you could think of an animal in this example. You could say it's static. You could change the second character to a capital. You could then count how many letters it's got in total. You could then count how many vowels it's got in that word, and then you can add one character or symbol. So you could turn antelope into a password there.
That'd be pretty decent. Yeah. Pretty hard to crack that one.
Exactly that. And another example, crazy hackers can't guess my password, and there might be a house number, for example, and you can see how you can put that into there. But the key point that we can't stress enough is don't reuse passwords. Number one, use a password manager like Keeper or LastPass, and make sure that we always are treating our passwords like pants. So we like that. So that's the 5 reasons.
So why do hackers target SMEs? Because when we mention cyber liability, a lot of people are not clued up on cyber, and the first thing they say is, "I'm not at risk, it's the larger companies." And that's an absolute myth. And these are reasons why. Small businesses, SMEs, the low-hanging fruit, they don't have, or they haven't put the money into the training of the staff, they haven't put the money into the security, the backups. So if you haven't got that, you haven't got any security, you haven't got your fences up. And for a hacker, it's so easy for them. It's like a game. It's not them trying to flex their cyber awareness muscles and show the world how good they are. It's a case of, I'm just going to play about, see if I can get in. If I can get in, what can I take? So the rewards for a cyber hacker, minimal. They don't get much out of it, but they get the buzz to know I can play around and get into this company without getting found out, basically. And it's not a lot of effort for them. So I guess there's some teenagers around there who'll be able to get into quite large companies.
The interesting part on that as well, though, what we've been seeing on compromised data is some people hackers are targeting the smaller company to get into their supply chain.
Yeah, we've got that. That's one of my points as well. It's the smaller companies are a gateway to the larger organisations. So the hacker, they may want to target a massive building firm, construction firm, for example, just because construction's quite a good industry for hackers to get to target and get into. They'll go for the main contractor. They might have all the security. They might have a cyber security division. They might have everything in place. So the hackers, it's a bit too difficult. I can't crack that. Let's have a look. Who do they use? Who do they subcontract to? Who purchase goods from the main contractor? One-man bands, smaller companies. Right, let's have a go at their systems. Perfect, right, I've got in, seen the invoices, got the bank details or email addresses of the main contractor, and they're getting that way. They work their way up rather than go for the big prize. They start at you because you're the easy pass, you're the gateway. They can get into you easy to escalate up there. So that's something you need to be mindful of as well. And that's another reason why we target not an SME business, not for that specific company necessarily, but to get somewhere bigger. Smaller companies, if they depend a lot on the data. Everything's electronic, like a lot of companies are now. If you get a ransomware attack and it says, right, I want 10 grand to get your data back, I can't trade, I can't do anything, I don't know what's coming in, I don't know what's going out, I don't know where I'm meant to be, I've got nothing, I've got no business. Let's pay it, just pay it. That's an easy 10 grand for somebody, basically, for not a lot of effort.
And an interesting point on that, and I don't know if you're aware of that, but we see that a lot. And what a lot of businesses don't understand is when the data gets encrypted, you can get encrypted within minutes, but decrypting it can take days, weeks. So we always, when we're managing risk, is how long can you not, how long can you afford to be not on them systems and be down?
Well, when the internet dropped out, I know we know, we're so heavily reliant on our software, which you have to get on the internet to get to. If that goes down, if the internet drops for an hour, 2 hours, half a day, trying to catch up is an absolute nightmare. Imagine having that for weeks, months, while somebody's trying to reinstate your data. It brings your business to a halt. Also, going back to social engineering, I mean, we saw in that video just how easy it is for somebody for someone to pretend to be somebody else, get your information. And if your staff haven't had the adequate training or are not clued up on what to look out for, either on the phone, via email, it's so easy for somebody to pretend to be somebody else, a hacker to pretend to be somebody to get into your systems and get your information. And that's why hackers do target SMEs. You only hear about the large corporate businesses in the news and the mainstream media, but like 50%, like I said, 60% SMEs are being targeted daily. We just don't hear about it. And I think that'll bring me on to some case studies. So it's hard for companies to realise that it is actually happening to businesses of their size in their industry. And these are some real life case studies that I've received from a couple of our insurers where claims have been paid out. So the first one, we'll all have heard in 2017 about WannaCry affected the NHS. Everybody knew it affected the NHS and they had their data breached and locked and held to ransom. You probably didn't hear about the four-guy engineering firm based in London.
We did.
Did you? Of course someone did. And so it just goes to show, NHS, everyone knew about it, other than Leon.
No, but let me rephrase that. We had other instances from it. It's not this particular case, but there was a lot more smaller firms
that got targeted.
Yeah.
So for this one, their data, exactly like the NHS, got held to ransom, lost all their information, all the technical drawings, all the prints, all the complex design work that took months, years for them to put together, gone. No access to them at all because of the ransomware attack. And in this instance, unfortunately for the company, the data couldn't be recovered. So they had an IT company that they paid for that tried. They had the forensic IT services from the insurance provider, and they could not get that data back. This company paid, they didn't cut corners on the cyber liability insurance. They knew how important it was. So they got a top end policy. Because the data couldn't be repaired, it couldn't be replaced, reinstated by recovering. It had to all be recreated. Now, a lot of cyber insurance policies won't give you cover for recreating your data if they can't get it back. So if that's the case, you'll be left high and dry. If you do have this extra cover, they've got £200,000 worth of costs covered to get the data recreated from scratch. So paying their employees overtime, getting other specialists in to help them get the systems back to where they were.
To bring all their IP back.
Just to get it back.
Yeah.
£200,000. Yeah. And if they didn't have this cyber cover, business over. Easily, business over, 200 grand. So insurance, if you do it right, get it sorted first time and get the cover you need, it will pay out. And
these are great examples, Luke, in terms of where we're trying to educate in our marketplace as well, our customers, is we do need these tools, but we also need to be able to recover. And recover is always from, first point of call is from your systems, but then we need to have you guys to have our backs.
It's a safety net.
Safety net as well. So great point.
And these are some top tips about backing up your data and testing it. It's not enough to say, right, it's backed up to the cloud. Or when was the last time you looked at it and made sure it was up to date? So if you needed it within a few hours, you could get it and it would be accurate. Not a lot of people test that. They just rely on Apple or Google or anybody out there to make sure it's done right, which is not always the case.
It needs to be like, as we do with our customers, it needs to be like a fire alarm, and it needs to be tested regularly, for the customers, and we need to make sure that that data is available if needed.
Yeah, and keeping it up to date. And contingency planning. I know with the coronavirus, a lot of business continuity plans, if you'd done them, you probably weren't expected a virus like it was. But if you're prepared, you knew how to get set up to carry on with your business. And if you didn't, it highlighted an area, right, we need to put some plans into place actually for when this happens. Yeah. So you should be doing that for your cyber as well. So what if your information disappears? If you get hacked, how are you going to get it back? Can you get it back? Have you got a backup so you don't need to pay a ransomware? So right, have it, fair enough, I've got my backups, I'm all right. So you just need to keep that in mind. Another case study, this is a high street DIY retailer. This was an employee, again, probably not had adequate training, not knowing what to look out for. Received an email which had a hyperlink in, said click here to review your financial statement. Click. Ransomware downloaded onto the system. Played havoc with the business. It's a retailer, so they need to know what's on the shelves, when to reorder, what have we got in the warehouse, have we got enough? If the client comes in and says, right, I need 100 of them, have you got it? Normally, you'd see them on their iPads nowadays, and yep, what code? Yep, brilliant, we've got all that. We've got X amount in the shop. We've got a load in the warehouse. Ransomware attack, all data down. Point of sale systems, stock management, everything down. So it took so much more time and effort to sell any piece of stock because they had to physically, the staff had to go into the warehouse. Have we got it? Right. Which row's it on? Well, run around, try and get it, run back to the shop. Yeah, we have got it actually, but we haven't got that many. Oh, we're out. We should have reordered, but we didn't know we had to reorder because we haven't got access to our stock management. And it played absolute havoc with the retailer's income. When it came down to it, the insurer did manage to recover quite a bit of the data, but the last 6 months they couldn't get. So 6 months worth of information gone. It had to be recreated, it had to start again. And that with the slower service, because employees didn't know what they had in stock or anything. It cost the insurer £42,000 to put that right. Now, I don't know many businesses that have got £42,000, especially SMEs just sat in an account waiting for something like this to happen. Wouldn't you rather have paid for an insurance policy if it's 500 quid, £1,000, depending on your sector? What would you rather do? Spend £500, £1,000, or risk 42 grand? Yeah. I know what I'd rather do.
Exactly that.
An unpaid bill. This is a good one because people think if I transfer money to the wrong person, it's all right, the bank will bail me. The bank will bail me out. They'll give me the money back. No, they won't.
And we've seen this. You know, in this exact same instance that you're implying this, and it's more common than what
it's so frequent. It's the number of businesses that are getting targeted, and the hackers. It's just a gamble. They're hoping someone will click. And when they do, the rewards are massive. I mean, on this one, £129,000. So the finance director was liaising with their accountant. They had a tax bill to pay, 179 grand for the previous quarter. Daily limit, 50 grand. Have to do it over 4 days. Cyber criminals are monitoring that activity. Like 50 grand's gone. Oh, they're spending a bit of money. Sent an email pretending to be their accountant, just to say, right, the tax collection agency, they've changed the bank details. So any future payments you have to send to this account. Finance director, it's come from the accountant, it's got their email signature on. I know the address, I know the person, fair enough. Updated the bank details on internet banking. Next 3 days, bang, bang, bang. £129,000 gone to cyber criminals. And the finance director, he thought, well, I've paid it now. As far as he's concerned, paid it to the right people, tick that box, carry on with your day job. A couple of weeks later, the tax collection agency gets in touch. We've received 50 grand. Thank you very much for that. But you still owe us 129. What are you on about? I paid this. I paid it. I've got evidence to show I paid it. Got in touch with the accountant. The accountant said, what are you on about? I didn't send you an email to say change your bank details. That didn't come from me. And at that point, they realised the systems had been breached. Somebody's infiltrated their system, messaged the finance director, and £129,000 of the company's money gone. And they couldn't reverse the payments. They can't get it back because it's not the bank's fault. If you transfer money to somebody who you think to be true and proper, it's your mistake. It's not the bank's.
Yeah.
And out of this one, already been 129 grand down. The tax collection agency, you still have to pay your tax bill. So they had to find another £129,000 to clear the bill.
And I think what's interesting in that point you made there, Luke, is when we're designing systems for businesses, we need to make sure that they're resilient to hacking and cryptos and ransomware. But also we're designing systems around communication strategies and getting businesses out of email. And they need email for a point, but internal communications, we see that as one of the biggest risks at the moment.
Well, a lot of insurers will say if you're sending payments over £2,500, get two people to look at it, dual controls, which helps.
Yeah.
They also say ring the person you think you're going, just pick up the phone like you used to. Is this you? Is it the right bank details? Right, perfect. And another top tip, which I really like, is if you're paying a large amount, say £50,000, send them £1.50 or an odd number, send it. Ring them up and say, I've just sent you a payment. Can you tell me if you've received it and how much it was for? You tell them how much you've sent. And just make it a weird and wonderful number, but not a high amount.
Yeah.
And with them saying, oh, you sent me £1.50, then you know you're sending it to the right account so you can do the rest. So that's a good tip that you should bear in mind.
And I think the great point you made there, we always teach three things. Great people, great process, great technology. And I think it's just really helping training our people, our teams around new processes like that. And simple tips that you just give it away there don't cost nothing.
It costs nothing. If a phone call, which everyone's used to anyway, that's how we used to do it.
Yeah.
It's only recently we've become so heavily dependent on email, which is a risk.
Yeah.
I think. Again, moving on to some myths. So every one of our clients, we're aware they use computers, they use laptops, they use iPads, they've got smartphones, so they've got data stored, which they heavily rely on. So we mentioned to these clients, you should have cyber liability insurance. And this is a lot of the feedback we get. These are the responses. It only affects big companies. I'm not a target. I've shown you some case studies. The amounts paid out by the insurers are big, but the companies are not necessarily massive. And we showed and explained the 5 reasons why SMEs are under attack, because it's easy. We already spend money to secure our network, so we don't need cyber insurance. That's absolutely fine. That's what we want. You need somebody like yourself, Leon, and your team at ThinkCloud to have all the preventions in place. You put all the security in place to prevent this ever happening.
Yeah.
But nothing's ever 100% guaranteed. So you look after them. If there is a breach, you've just ticked every box for the insurer. You've got your antivirus, you've got your firewall, you've done your password protection, you've done your dual controls, you've done absolutely everything. And there's just been an honest mistake. And that's when your insurance company steps in and picks up the pieces. So you need them both to work effectively together.
But also, as well, like we always say, we started on this, cybersecurity is a team sport.
Yeah.
And what a lot of businesses don't always realise as well, within their IT support contracts, they're not covered for the remediation work of putting these risks back and working with the insurances. And that's why I need the policies. But it's looking at it so we can de-risk it, so that if someone does make an honest mistake, we've done everything that's reasonable and everything that's practical to mitigate that risk.
We do not collect sensitive data, so we're not at risk. If you've got a business, you've got employees, you've got bank details, you've got medical history, data there,
driving licenses,
all sorts. So you might not even think you have it, but you do have the data. Under GDPR, you could be in very hot water if you get your data breached. Again, bank will refund us if we pay the wrong account. Doesn't happen, not like that. So you can't rely on the bank bailing you out either. And this is a good one, a third party. It's all in the cloud. Don't worry about it. It's all in the cloud. We're looked after by Google, we're looked after by Apple. And when you get, this is what I like, when you get the software updates and you've got a new release of emojis, you're like, oh, brilliant. You got to read all the time. No one reads it, but they're saying you're getting a nice emoji, but actually they're patching up some gaps that they found where the systems are being breached. So you need to be aware of that.
And there's a great point you make on that. When we're always working with a customer and bringing them on, we're helping them support the risks and the management. This is the same for Google, same for Microsoft. Within their terms and conditions, the data is a responsibility of the company who own the data, and they will not, if it's lost, it's not their responsibility. Although they do back that up to a certain level, they won't. But a lot of times people don't understand that if a hacker gets in, it's no different to an employee getting in and deleting data.
Well, that's another risk. Employees can do it.
So there's multiple ways that data can be breached, where it can be corrupted. There's all different ways where that we need to have it backed up and monitored in different ways. But the data providers under your Microsofts and your Google, the risk is on the business, not on them.
That's a really good point with the employee, actually, because all we've done is mention cyber hackers and expect them to be anywhere in the world just testing your systems. But if you have an employee that you've upset, or they're not happy in the workplace and they're looking for an out, or they just want to hurt you, they're just disgruntled and they want to impact your business, it could be in-house as well. So that's something you need to be really aware of. I think that's probably enough about the myth from me.
So I like this one, Luke. How safe is your house?
I love the Hobbit house.
Yeah, Hobbit house. So I think we're going to try and teach about a cybersecurity framework that everyone needs to know. But like anything, when we teach about risk and frameworks, it can be a little bit overpowering, a little bit, well, I don't get it, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
But I think cybersecurity should be really simple, like our houses. To look at our Hobbit house. So this is the NIST cybersecurity framework. So they look at your security in different levels. So when we're looking at that, if it was a house, how would you protect your house? Come on, Luke.
Lock my front door.
Yeah, okay. Give me two more.
Lock my windows.
Yeah.
Have an alarm.
Yeah.
Get a guard dog.
All right, okay. So
Insurance.
Insurance, yeah, it knows. So we look at it. So locks. So our protection is our door locks, our windows, our fences, our signage. So again, we've got to be looking at our systems like that, of what have we got to lock our system down. So that's what your passwords, that's your different systems to guard against known threats out there.
But when you leave your house, you don't leave your windows and door wide open, do you, for people to come in? So it's similar to that. But
you won't put your alarm code on a post-it note on the window.
No, absolutely not.
So these are the ways we've got to be thinking. And detection. So we need to be thinking around detection. So you did actually mention a couple there, but what would you have in your house around detection?
You have your alarm, so if that goes off, you might have CCTV cameras as well.
Yeah, let's have a look. So alarm, motion sensor, CCTV, neighbourhood watch, right? So we're looking out for detection. Then response. So we know we've been, someone's broken. We need to respond. Give me an idea of a response.
For me, it's just insurance. If something goes wrong, the first person you call is your insurance broker or your insurer. Response. Call the emergency services, ring the police. Yeah.
So a dog, insurance, police. We did put a baseball bat. I meant to set that off. We did a digital sprint and we had Humberside police in with us, and we still wanted to use that, but I forgot to set that off. But I will take that off. But then we need to also have our system, so we're identifying threats. So I've just shown you around how we can use the dark web to be identifying potential breaches. Then we've got loads of different systems and controls that we're going to be putting into in monitoring and looking to identify. And then we can start looking at how we recover. Yeah. And I think it's a really good framework of looking at how we need to get our houses in order around cyber security. So this brings us, we're getting to the sort of close. And within this, we've put together a 15-way guide, which we've developed to yourselves around what preventive measures that we need in place to protect a business.
Well, I mean, from a cyber liability insurer point of view, if you get hacked and you don't have antivirus software, if you don't have firewall, they're just going to say no. You've effectively left your doors and windows wide open. Yeah. If you buy a new laptop, I've got a free trial. Every free trial, then it'll go, right, it's about to expire. I don't need it. Yeah. So that's like entry level as well. That is like first stage stuff. If you haven't got that, you're in trouble. And
when we're looking at this, if you can see from the two ends of the spectrum, we always talk about the human firewall. People, process, technology all the time. It's making sure that we train our users to be more cyber resilient. Passwords, emails
is the biggest threat. Human error.
And I think for us, we need to be having these tools in our locker and at least working through them to push that through. So I think we've got through an hour. Just about.
I didn't think it'd last that long.
No, I didn't think it'd last that long. But I think sort of next steps that people can take, and we've put we have got some questions, haven't we? Let's have a quick look, see if we've got some questions coming in. 1 second. Got a couple of questions coming in.
There's one. Is the cheapest insurance cover enough?
Good,
no.
Great question.
Well, I would say if you go to a supermarket, you go get your beans. You get Tesco Value, or do you go for Heinz? You go for Heinz or the middle ground. You don't go for the cheapest. And it's the same with insurance. You get what you pay for at the end of the day. So if you want to go for a £200 cyber policy, go for it. You'll get entry level, basic level of cover. It might cover the scenario you want it to cover when things go wrong.
Yeah.
But the likelihood is you've ticked probably 4 out of 10 boxes. So you'll have some cover, but not quite comprehensive cover.
Yeah.
So cheapest isn't always best. There's the other end of the spectrum where there's insurers all singing, all dancing. Yeah, you pay for that. Of course you do. But you have that ultimate peace of mind then that if something does go wrong, you will get paid out. And that's why you need to invest in both IT security to make sure you don't get breached in the first place, but then invest in your insurance as well, so that you increase your chances of getting paid out when something does go wrong. You need to call on it.
That's a great question, that one. Got another one. We have our external IT support, so there's a risk like with them. So again, like we've mentioned earlier there, that it's a team sport, so it's the company's data. We're there to advise and manage that risk with them, but it's the company's risk. And I think there's a great sort of point on this. You've put a fantastic tool together in the pack we're giving away that manages risk. Do you want to talk through that a little bit more?
Yeah, it's a cyber risk calculator. So basically, I think it's 10 or 15 questions, and you review your business. You review what safety systems you've got in place. So you want to answer it honestly. It'll highlight areas where you're good, you're medium, you're all right, or areas where you really need to focus on. And just assess the risk to your business of a data breach. So it's a little calculator. You tot up your score at the end, and it'll tell you if you're low, high, medium risk. If it highlight areas where you need to speak to a professional, get in touch with Leon, obviously, and he can guide you through it. I'm not a technology expert. I mean, trying to sort this out today, I came here to Leon because he's a guru. I had absolutely no idea. So I'm good at insurance. I can sort your insurance and get you covered and get you the peace of mind. But when it comes to defending your business up front and putting the prevention measures in place, you need to speak to somebody like Leon who knows what.
But also this pack we've put together, which is an offer that we're going out to our customers and people who have attended to the webinar, is these a dark web report, so we can get a feel of what's actually being breached out there. We've got our own 15 actual guide we've put together ourselves of different approaches. And then we've got the risk exposure calculator, and it's a fantastic offer. If you scan the QR code, or if you go to think-cloud.co.uk/15 ways, complete, I think it's three or four questionnaires, put the referral code in there, WKYP in there, and we can get that system to you. But again, I think it's a key point when we look at this. This is a fully actionable offer for you guys to download, go through yourselves manually. If they get stuck, they can reach out to us and we can go through this with them. But there's a great point here. The 15 actual guide is for us is what good looks like, and we appreciate not everyone can get to what good likes straight away, and managing that risk. But on the flip side, these preventive measures that people can put in will impact in terms of insurance, in terms of
brings the cost down.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about that?
So obviously, you've got you pay your IT provider to put the security in place, maintain it for you, get everything in order in tight, so you get everything up to date.
As I like to say, get your house in order.
Get your house in order. That's what I was looking for. I didn't want to steal your catchphrase, honestly. But, so once you get your house in order, well, I forgot where we were.
What in terms of premium risk?
Oh, in terms of premium, yeah. So if you can demonstrate to an insurer you've got absolutely everything in place, and the Cyber Essentials is a great one, because a lot of insurers now are saying, have you got Cyber Essentials? Have you got Cyber Essentials Plus? If you can tick them boxes, your premium will come down, or they'll waive your excesses. So you'll get some benefit for doing that. So although it's a cost to put yourself through that accreditation, get the certificate, you can offset it with a reduction in your excess.
I think that Luke, look at that. We're Cyber Essentials Plus certified, and we're actually going in test companies as well for vulnerabilities. And the reason we do that is it's a lot better if our team hack you and breach you.
Well, you know where your data is.
Exactly. And we're doing that, and we class it as our badge of honour that we achieve that standard. And we're also saying to our customers and our supply chain, a lot of companies don't understand that under the Cyber Essentials framework, if you're in a government contract, and that includes third-party subcontract agreements as well, you need to be achieving Cyber Essentials. Yeah. If you're on military defence supply chain, you need to be Essentials Plus. And there's a great example I shared with someone on this. A lot of people look at accreditations as just a badge and it doesn't mean anything. These policies have been put together by the government. It's a framework to say that we achieve these. Now, Cyber Essentials is that we've got policies and procedures to say that we can demonstrate that we do this. Cyber Essentials Plus is we've got the policies, but actually we get externally tested to say that we do achieve these. Right. Complete different. But a good example I had with a customer was there was supplying, there was a sandwich company supplying sandwiches. Would you think they need to be Cyber Essentials or Cyber Essentials Plus certified?
I wouldn't have thought
You
so.
wouldn't
No,
have
I
thought
wouldn't
so,
thought
no?
the risk is pretty low.
So just making sandwiches, good sandwiches, by the way.
Got a till.
Got to tell, yeah.
Yeah.
So do they need them? The bit of information when we looked at their risk and managed through that, and the key bit I missed was they supplied sandwiches to the nuclear submarine division, and there was an XL caterer. So they knew in their databases when the ships and everything are coming back, and they knew a big order's coming in. If that data was to be known when these ships are coming in or coming back,
You can target them.
can target that. So understanding your supply chain and the impact that could have. So that sandwich company, the impact of that was national security.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't put it together, would you? You wouldn't.
So
question everything.
so it's looking at that and then putting risks and steps in place so we can mitigate that risk.
Yeah.
So that's bang on an hour, Luke. We're
I think
done.
We're done.
So last comments? I'll just repeat that again. If anyone who's watched this webinar signs up, and if you are watching this as a repeat, which we are going to repeat for a limited period only, if you go to think-cloud.co.uk, 15 ways, put the code in WKYP, download our actionable guides, and if you need to speak to anyone on insurance,
Get in touch.
get in touch.
If you need me, my email address is luke@hicommercial.co.uk, or give me a call 01482 247 477. Happy to answer any queries and guide you through the process. Just get us all started.
Well,
Just want to say thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining us.